Hello everyone. So I want to get more active with my YouTubes again, and I want to reach out directly and be as supportive as so many other YouTubers are out there that are really wonderful to refer to when you're going through challenges, or when you just need to be reminded of what you already know. And sometimes we are more introverted and we are more reflective, and then we will meditate more, or we will read more books, or we will be in nature more. And in those times, sometimes it's very beautiful to hear the wisdom of another person that's on a similar path, and not just to read their books, but also to watch their YouTubes, and just to be able to have that, that way of letting go, putting it into your headphones and just connecting with that which is your own truth resonance. And it's a reminder. And having those reminders are really powerful at keeping us strong when the whole world is going through so much turmoil right now, when people are more triggered, when people are going through upheaval, when their consciousness is being shaken up, right? And so it's actually that sometimes you won't even recognize certain people, certain shadow sides can come up within yourself or others. And it's about really being able to navigate through that, being able to see it for what it is, and being able to stay in your own center. Not so much that you need to stay calm and perfect like a Buddha, but so that you are in alignment with yourself, rather than getting caught up in a lot of things that are actually not supporting you and helping you to do what you have come here to do on this earth plane, on this life incarnation. So I feel I should be sharing as well a lot more than I do. I went through a whole patch at the beginning of COVID, offering meditations and how to create your world through your mindset, how to stay calm when there's a lot of chaos going out around you, and also breathing meditation. So I've got a lot there on my channel, but I also know people love fresh content, and yet do dig around into some of the older ones. They're very good, I mean, from my heart. And I do the same with other YouTubers. Sometimes their current content is interesting, but it's something they posted a year ago that's really profound, and it doesn't make it any less. So tap into the timeless dimension, that a message will be with you when you need it. And it's not about whether it is new and current. It can be a message from 1,000 years ago that will strike your chord in a most profound way, and be that piece of the puzzle that you've been looking for. So there is some pieces of the puzzle that I've been looking for a long time, even as a child, literally. I have been, and I want to share more about that, and I said that I would. So and I want to relate it to you, so you're not just listening to my story, but you also can draw on it yourself. So our childhood, obviously, we all know this, has a huge effect on our programming, and also on the way we now live life. What is our priority or our paradigm through which we want to look at things. So it's really good to dig back into the childhood and notice if some of those patterns are still there, and notice that when you feel really strongly about doing something, or have a very strong belief that is perhaps being edged on with other people now, is this really my belief? Is this really my heart and soul? Or is this a layer on top, or maybe 5 layers on top? Is it like something my mom or grandmother used to say, or my dad said, or my grandfather, or is this something, blah blah blah? And then knowing and asking ourselves, having the courage to actually drop some of that identity concept, that is this really me, or have I borrowed that? In your childhood, people may have said to you, oh, you speak really well, you need to communicate, or oh, you're a great sports person, you're gonna go far, or hey, whenever you sing, we feel so happy. And even though those things might have been true at the time, we take them very deeply, and then they start to program us, either through needing attention, or wanting to feel loved, or feeling it's part of our identity that makes us feel important. So this is very normal, and this seems to be the way things work on this earth plane. But what has always fascinated me is that why have we forgotten how actual powerful we are? Why have we forgotten to feel powerful and to ask questions? Why have so many people worshipped doctors? Why have so many people felt too shy? I've met so many people that would say, wow, you ask all these questions, but you know, I can't do that. I'm like, yes, you can. And a good doctor will take the time to explain. Of course, the system is unfortunately now such that they don't have time to explain things that much. But on the other side, we have YouTubes now where we can ask questions and where people like me and scientists have actually shared amazing information so that we can understand what's going on. So on that polarity shift, let's ride with the good parts of it or the useful parts. We have YouTube available, and of course it requires discernment, but there are some absolute genius people on YouTube, people that are really on the top of their field, that want humanity to know, that want to share, that want to educate, because a true person that knows things and is in their heart and is not like completely isolated from humanity and doesn't sort of connect with humanity, loves to share that, loves for people to know, loves to be also acknowledged probably, and that whole combination is out there on YouTube. People love to feel that they're making a difference. So draw on that, and also notice that there will be different opinions and different polarities, and you're gonna have to question yourself what resonates. And that's where sitting back and meditating on it can be really, really powerful, and really it's actually something that we are currently being asked to do. For example, why are there laws being changed without us being involved? We are the taxpayers, we are the people that are voting, as in, you know, in each country, wherever you are, and yet certain decisions are being made where there are literally people really, really against many, and they're still happening. What's going on? And why is it that some people are fighting for that freedom and can't think of anything else, because they really can tell that if someone doesn't do this, we're going to be completely overtaken and we have no more choices to make, and we are not involved in a democracy, you could say, and in a freedom of speech and co-creation. And they fight passionately, and I get that flowing through me a lot at times too. I have to stop myself, because I also know that it has its place, and it has to be, in my mind, be done in a certain way where it is actually received, rather than I'm burning myself out and not making it clear what I'm actually trying to do, and I'm just, you know, being reactive. So we are in an era where we've become polarized, and this is also a good thing, because from polarity comes union. All of life is a pulse, right? So if we go back to yogic practice, if we go back and look at a flower, a plant, the moon, everything, there is this rising and falling. And we have been in a very long era and time where things have been hidden, where things have been corrupted, where things have been primal, where things have been more about acceptance, and people haven't, in general, as on a mass consciousness, felt worthy or intelligent enough or motivated enough or connected to ask questions and to see beyond the scene, see beyond what's actually going on. Maybe they're too busy in their own lives, maybe they feel they're not educated enough, maybe they really can't cope with the stress, and for them it's immensely torturous to go and look around for that. Maybe they prefer to trust. And look, I have this weird combination where I really trust, and inherently I believe in the goodness, but I'm also digging deeper. I have this curiosity where I'm going, so why is that happening? But then why is that going on? And why is this being ignored? So, you know, and my life path has been guided, of course, from my higher self and from my incarnation. And I have gone the spiritual path, and I've gone the scientific path, and I feel very blessed that I could hold both sides in a sense and become integrated in myself to feel free to ask any scientific question, to talk to someone who does quantum physics, to talk to someone who does medicine, to talk to educators, teachers, you know, poets. I've embraced deep poetry. I've embraced the nothingness that I am and the illusion of who I am, to all the way to the sense of identity in creating my own reality. So with that perspective, I want to share on this YouTube channel. I am not here to bring in 100% facts. I'm not here to do the homework for everybody. I'm here to express a perspective that I have, and maybe it will take you to your next quantum leap. Maybe it will help you to feel okay about where you are and empowers you even. If it doesn't feel good, don't listen to it. If you don't like my style, there are so many people out there, and I really mean that. This is not at all charged. Then just go, man, I don't like it, you know? Because again, that's part of the current situation where we need to realize that we can choose. We can choose how we behave on social media. We can choose what we look at, and we don't need to blame others. We don't need to spend our energy critiquing others unnecessarily. If I were to ask, I want that feedback, or if you want to comment, you can. But some people are really out of the goodness of their hearts, uplifting humanity, really worrying and really getting exhausted, trying to show evidence about many things. Just accept it and see that, and don't hack these people down if you don't need to, because instead of hacking others down, you could have a normal conversation about, hey, can you help me with more info? I'm struggling. Or you could go into your own self and find out what's true to you. Ask your inner self, your wisdom, to help you with that, perhaps guiding you to a different teacher, a different book. Ask in your daily life to, to get those signs, and be amazed at how good that is, because this is like setting your GPS. I talk about this a lot, so I apologize if it's repeated, but we are beings of consciousness, and what your attention goes towards is where your life is, and where you literally put energetics, right? This is literally what you embellish and foster to become bigger. And quantum physics has shown that. Look, if you're ever curious, just ask me a question and I'll discuss it, and I would love to keep flowing with like that. Like Sabine, you talked about that. Can you elaborate? So I would actually love that very deeply. So also what you intend has a big impact. So I always talk in my classes and in my coachings about intention and attention, and I know other people of course do that too. I'm not unique. But really, your attention is powerful. So am I paying attention to something that is important to me, or is nourishing me, or is educating me, or helping me to navigate through these challenging times? And where is my intent in this? Like, where am I setting my GPS? Okay, so if we don't have an intent and we're just randomly doing what we're doing, that's okay, but you're gonna have a lot more random occurrences. It's like you're getting in the car and you're saying to it, take me wherever you want, I'm gonna have fun. You're gonna have to literally enjoy that adventure. And if it leads you to a suburb you don't like, or into the city that you don't want to go to instead of the hills or the beach, or it stops altogether because it's time to stop for some reason, then don't complain, because you said take me wherever you like, and it's honestly like that. So we're not going to be hardcore on saying what we want fully, but we're going to have some sort of a direction. You will find that you feel very much empowered by it, not in an egoic way, but like you're creating, and you're actually co-creating your life. A lot of people say you're creating it, and I believe we are, but I feel it's a co-creation with your soul. It's a co-creation with your actual pre-birth plan, with your holiness within you, and also the bigger being that you are. It's not all in the mind. It's an alignment with your heart, your intuition, and then of course having the will to notice where you want to head towards, and also focusing on it. Because if you know it but you're focusing on everything else and you're scattering, you're going to find that that will be much thinner. It's like pouring out a ladle of soup that you want to have, and it's going everywhere. In the end, you only have this little bit of broth left, right? So, and the same with the car. If you set your GPS, let's head into the rough area towards the beach, you will head in that direction, but it will take longer, and it might take you through side streets, which can actually be amazing. You might say, oh yeah, I want to go here, I'm seeing the orange stand with the oranges, I want to pick them up, and then you can eat an orange at the beach. So it's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's a guidance system, and it depends on how you meet it. So setting your intention as well, when you go and watch a YouTube, when I'm like making one, really helps. My intention is to uplift you. My intention is to create a space where we can talk and where my hair just looks funny with this light anyway, and where we can learn, evolve, co-create, and realize our worth in the fullest possible way. And this is something that's natural for me. I can hold that for you very easily, so I want to do that. I want to remind you that even if you have self-doubt, that you are amazing and you have a form of intelligence that we need. You have a form of wisdom and a sharing that we truly need, and it is worth something. And let yourself melt into yourself, and let yourself, you know, like a flower, rise and co-create, and notice where you want to go, and be playful, so that as you change slightly, you will peel back layers and notice your true essence, and it will all appear beautifully. So I'd also love to work with other YouTubers. I would love to co-create discussions and all this kind of thing, because they really can help us to feel okay, to think differently. Our society is very much about predictability. There are innovative people, yes, but they are a minority. It's more about being safe, which is the primal self, which is the hurt inner child, the hurt generations behind us that went through the war, that had to struggle. So this idea of keeping things the same, status quo, let's keep it and let's not ruffle the feathers too much, that's going on for people. Then there's this idea of you know, what you've been programmed with, and then there's this idea of, I hope it just goes away. And then there's the idea of, well, I'm doing my best and that's good enough, and that is also very true. But letting yourself be born into who you are, and not playing out those limitations anymore, that's what I'm trying to help people to see. And as I do that, I also elevate myself, by the way. So it's never that any YouTuber or teacher is only giving. As we speak and give, we're also receiving, because there is an element of our higher self coming through, and it's like love. The more you give, the more comes through, because it's not your personal love, and this is important. It's actually a flow that is going through all of us, like pranic life force, and we are a conduit and sharing it. So it's not about giving love like some people do and then they're depleted at the end of it. I'm giving to my kids, I'm giving to my parents, I'm giving to the world, and there's like a martyr like way of giving, which is something that they've adopted along the way, maybe even a past life vow that is still playing out. The truth is that now we've come into a place where we are aware through this information and through the collective consciousness that's rising and bubbling things up, that we don't have to exhaust ourselves when we give. Yes, and we need to fill ourselves up first. So some people would go, oh, I'm just gonna do the YouTube, I feel like crap, but I'm gonna do it anyway. No, because the people will feel that. Fill yourself up, feel your alignment with yourself. And that's the same for before you're parenting, although you don't have a choice if you have little kids. But that's why it's good to prepare for pregnancy and receiving the baby, and looking at what your strategy is to keep yourself really balanced before you have children. Because if you're not, the children have to experience that, and that's another program going on and on. But that's also a divine unfolding. Of course, that was chosen by the child and you. But if you want to uplift and up level, then, you know, feeling free to really look at that, and feeling free to nourish yourself, and writing down as I'm speaking, unless you're lying down and sleeping, writing down what are your gifts, what are your talents, and which ones do you want to enhance, or which ones do you want to learn more about. And that's the beginning. That's where the energy goes. That's the GPS. And so this leads me back to what has always been my curiosity, which is that even as a child, like I said, I was very little when I thought this stuff. I remember lying in a cot and having thoughts. I remember incarnating and having thoughts. So I have a lot of recalls. I also spontaneously remember past lives very easily, and go back into that and remember how that was to be that human being, and how the mindset was wired a certain way and created a certain action, right? It's so fascinating. And that's why I probably am very good at giving people past life regression sessions, because they're so natural to me. So that vibe is there and people can go into those and clear them. But my question as a child was always, coming back to that, why have people forgotten who they are? Why are they running that same program? Why are they saying one thing and doing another? You know, I never understood this as a child. Why, what the world calls love is not love. It's like a weird bartering system almost, right? It sort of doesn't feel authentic. And when you watched out there people interacting in churches or in schools or in friendships or in just society overall, and I really felt that. I didn't get traumatized that by thinking that, but it was almost like I was this wondering person thinking, how does that work? Why did they do this? Wow, interesting. And so I read more high-level books as well that were more contemplations about the psyche. I used to analyze handwriting and learned from there through graphology that people's expressions are also in the handwriting, which is a very interesting thing. Bigger handwriting, more confidence; smaller handwriting, suppressed, leaning to the back, meaning leaning into the past, forward, really forward driven, the high, and then you go into how the I dot is done, the T, the down and up, and it's also intuitive, but people have studied that it's a bit like, your face reveals things, your time of birth reveals things, your type of birth, your past lives. This is an infinite thing, and some people are good at reading palms, and they know that certain lines connect with certain things. And let's never take anything as black and white, but these are all little gifts that can help us to navigate and get to know ourselves, and also honor the differences and how different people are programmed differently. So people forgetting things or people forgetting who they are, that's been huge for me. People doing one thing and saying one thing and behaving completely differently. It's like, wow, it's like they're lying to themselves. Now, for me, that was relatively easy, and I'm very grateful for this, and I want to share this and really hold space for those who didn't have it. I had very, very good parents. I had parents that, of course, they went through their own challenges. They had their own challenging childhoods, but they did decide that they were going to let their children have a nurturing space, and they would never hit them or harm them or do anything awful to them, and honor them for who they are. My parents both decided that, and they have done that, and they've done it all the way from beginning to now. Even now when I years ago got a divorce, my parents preferred that I didn't, but they said, look, that's your decision, and we honor and support you in whatever you do, and the way I raised my children, They might make a comment if I ask, but ultimately they respected me, and we had open discussions. Super powerful. And that's why I've always had that confidence to question. I've always felt good enough, and I've also not been suppressed. So I feel that that's a gift they gave me, and I need to share that, and I need to help people drop the programs that were run by that kind of upbringing, which served you at the time, because it's your unique journey, your unique discovery of what it feels like to be shamed or suppressed or abused or not seen or not honored or not respected the way you deserved. And then to shine through that and realize that it is always within you. But of course, if you're programmed as a child, as a baby, in utero even, it's really hard sometimes to be able to realize what's you and what's the observer, what's actually me beyond all this. And this leads me right back to the spiritual aspect of my contemplations, and that is that, we are really unique expressions of the divine experiencing itself. And this gives me a lot of peace, because it means that the divine is going to experience itself as a confident person, as a person that's not confident, and all the scales in between. Someone that's angry, guilty, full of shame, which is the lower vibration in the terms of how it feels and the density of it. And that's something we've all experienced to some degree, compared to the elation of joy and gratitude and love. And the combination of how we channel this and how we experience and weave it into our cocoon or our carpet called life is so unique, that the divine spark through us is experiencing duality, life, love, passion, creativity in so many unique ways. For me, that means wow. That means everyone's perfect. It means it's a great humbleness, because it's all unfolding as it should. We have made these pre-birth plans. We have these this lineage of family that we are healing as we're healing ourselves. And that was a great polarity, because even when people suffered in the war in the past, they still had romance, they still had aspirations, they still had passions, and learning when we lose something, how beautiful it is to gain it, and learning how to grow, or how when someone has lost a child, which is a horrendous trauma, to how beautiful it is to hold your own child and to see it as the most precious marvel that ever landed on the planet, which is how it was for me. All my kids were like an art, just this most miraculous thing on the planet of light and love and intelligence and grace and unique divinity. It's like, wow, how can I honor this? How can I really make it so they get the best life? And then my whole journey, and yours too, if you've been a parent, is about, wow, how can I actually know what my child needs? Some need more firmness, some need more softness, some want to be disciplined, some will not be good with that. It's so unique, and you can't be everything to everyone, and that's boring too, because there is always gonna be life. It's like there's gonna be experience and polarity, and you don't know if you've been strict whether this will take your child into this path or that path or this or that, because each child responds differently. And you don't know if you're being really soft and loving and hippie like, a bit more like me, with some discipline, but really sort of all about love and know that you're divine and reflect and trust your heart. I don't know for sure whether that's the ultimate thing, but I know they chose me and I chose them, and with that I trust and I do my best. And ultimately my main phrase was, trust yourself, question everything, I said to them, even your parents, the school, the society, and choose the bits that you love and that you resonate with, that make you feel joyful or happy or that feel good in your heart, and have your unique journey. And please know that I always love you, no matter what you do, no matter what happens. And I would look them in the eyes and say, you know that, right? They go, yes, we know that. Da, da, da. And I'm hoping that I am always upholding that in the highest possible way, even though when children get older, it's harder to make sure the communication is as simple. When they're kids, they just absorb everything. When they're teenagers, the complications come in, the hormones, the different personality aspects. And so it's an interesting thing, but it's the divine cosmic play. So why have people forgotten? Well, because that's part of the cosmic play. Why are some people seeing the problems with, the vaccination, and some people just completely think you're absolutely lost if you're thinking that? This is just a real polar attitude around. One is about health and about balance, and the other one is about, well, health means following the medical system and not questioning it at all, and just trusting that and wanting to trust it, and it can't be anything wrong with it, and really being in a primal mode of, if you do something like that, then that's not gonna coincide with anything healthy. It's a real black and white thing. And the same with some people that just don't want to vaccinate, and for example, there's balance in that too. There is balance in that, and there's homeopathic, and then there's, of course, in my life, I've always felt the immune system is profound because I've studied it. It was one of my majors at university, and I've learned through my natural therapy studies that if we rest well and we honor our emotions, we meditate, we it doesn't have to be big, just an awareness of stillness, and we hydrate and we eat relatively well, immune system is unbeatable. If we eat extra well and have the fresh fruits and vegetables and boost that, and exercise and really maybe scrub the skin and focus on health more, and maybe do some therapy work on releasing childhood trauma or something, you are invincible. Our body is designed to do so much more. It's just that we haven't been taught or reinforced to look after it. And so some of us do. Some of us, like my mom, was really into all this stuff, and she read all the books. And I naturally grew up in a natural environment in a country in Germany where my grandparents had everything in their garden, literally everything: grapes, tomatoes, apples, carrots, potatoes, berries, corn, vineyard with winemaking, everything was there. So I loved it. I was involved in that. I enjoyed that. Everything. They had their own animals as well, which I didn't like, because I liked the animals, but I didn't like them getting eaten at all. I was already like that those days, so I didn't eat that, or I only ate the sauce and not the dead animal kind of thing. So where was I going with this? Yeah, so some of us are more in tune. I've been raised more with the feeling of of a fresh tomato from your garden. I used to get euphoric on that. But then I also noticed that my friends in Germany didn't feel that. So I would go and get a fresh tomato from the vine, and my friend's house would have a fresh tomato on their vine as well. And I say, hey, wow, can I have one? They had heaps. And I would just be blissing out because it was still warm from the sun, and it was so rich and so amazing. And it was like better than any lollies or ice cream or anything for me. I also ate lollies and had some ice cream. It's not that, but and they used to think, God, you're really crazy, Sabine. And then I thought, what? You're not feeling it? So it's not always connected, but that kind of upbringing can help. We're still gonna be our unique expression of that. I still get excited about the moon and every sunset and the trees, how beautiful they are. Just the same way I've done all my childhood. I would stop riding my bike and going, wow. I would take pictures. I would be in awe of nature, right? This is something that I was born with. My parents never even said, you have to be grateful, you have to look at this and that. It's something I really am, and I had to own that, even though I was mocked for that, even though, people thought it was cute, but people also thought it was like, get over it, what's with you? So, and I also have to own it in terms of that, it can seem like I'm egoic or I think I'm superior, which I don't think that. I just want to be me, and I happen to really love nature, and I'm really grateful for it every single day. Being alive, the body breathing. I guess it's because I've had a good childhood, and I'm that kind of incarnation. So again, there's different experiences, and if you want to up level, if you feel like I'm blocked, I feel like I want to vibrate higher, then watching a channel like this one can help, or other people's, and you can build on that. It's like walking different steps of your journey called life. And if you resonate, I would love to share that with you, and to also encourage you to enjoy being who you are. Some of the things I used to teach was, and people really didn't know that and were really enjoying that, was that, look, it's a lot better for you to choose the things you actually like that are healthy than to torture yourself with things that are really healthy and you can't stand, and you're swallowing them, making a scrunched up face, and to deny yourself completely of things you love. It's about finding that balance so there's joy involved, which helps the body to absorb it more. They've done studies on that kind of thing. And it's true, a lot of information has been hidden that's actually here to empower you. This is what we're just going through. A lot of information has been hidden. A lot of cures for cancer have been hidden. A lot of technology that's more eco-friendly has been hidden. A lot of other things have been exaggerated. And this is why we must ask questions. And everything you hear, I highly recommend, stop and go, cool, that's information that's created by someone who also has their program. They may have an agenda or not, or may be unconscious about it. Does this resonate? Does this make me feel, yeah, my gut, my heart, my intuition, I like this. And you're allowed to change your mind right away. You can say in a few months, I used to resonate, now I don't. And so asking this question is key. Do I really trust my doctor? Do I really trust the government? You don't have to get paranoid. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist. This is a label that's being put on people that question to stop them from questioning. It's just that you're questioning and curious. And if you go out there and question like that these days, someone will say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you're an anti-vax. No, you're not. I'm just a pro-information. I'm just curious. I'm just like, something feels fishy. What's so bad about asking this question? And I love asking, and someone has to ask. Like, not everybody's nature is to ask. So this is what we need to realize. And there's some people that love the drama, and they want to make business of the drama, and they want to scare you, and they want you to buy their survival package and their gold and their tent and their weapons. You got to realize, hey man, there's going to be all sorts of people, and some people could literally be insane. That's also an expression, right? Some people could be mentally ill. Some people could be, on a whole spectrum, anywhere in there, and changing from day to day. Some people have multiple personalities. Some people talk to themselves and convince themselves that what they're saying is true. I found it very interesting. I have really had a big journey on really, my ex-husband used to work in a mental institution, and I used to say, what was that like? What are they like? And what's going on? And these people really believe someone's trying to kill them. They really, really, really believe it. And some people have multiple personalities. Some people had to develop those to survive. Some people have entities that have come into their field. They are energies that are out, and they've been known in Buddhist society, in Vedic society. These are deities. These are demonic-like creatures that like to play havoc. They can play with your emotional field. They can sit with you and just live off you and your emotions, and they can affect what decisions you make at certain times when you're vulnerable, or they can trigger you to be overly reactive and burn that energy because they draw on that. Now that sounds outlandish, but I've studied it. I've even experienced it in one of my ex-boyfriends, and it was a very direct experience I need to share at some point. And it's profound and it's massive, and unless you step back and you question and you sit in your own sovereignty and you go, okay, this is what I'm seeing, wow, okay, what does this mean, let me do some research, you're just gonna brush it aside and say, nah, that's nothing, oh, I don't care. It's about the courage to go, hang on, the universe has presented this to me, what can I do with this, how can I learn, and how can I navigate to create, less human suffering or more awareness. So, and that's again a story, right? Who am I to decide that people need more awareness? I realize that. It's something that excites me, so I'm doing it. I like the idea of making people remember that they're amazing and that they're mostly just shedding stuff that they've borrowed over the years that's not even theirs, and that they can fly, and that they're powerful, and that they can make change in society, in politics, in the world, globally. Meditating together, I've done so many gatherings like that globally and here in Adelaide. And I love it. It's powerful. It's been studied that this thing creates the butterfly effect and creates less crime. And I'm super passionate about children not experiencing crime. And this is what triggers me to really speak. There is horrendous things that have gone on with kids in other people's homes, in your neighborhood, globally, with the politicians, with the police, with the everything. Like, whatever you think should be safe hasn't been, because it creates that element of safety. This is how predators work. This is how people groom. You feel safe, you trust, boom. Oh, you can trust me. Look, we did that. Oh, well, that's very special. This is love. You can't tell anyone. They're not going to believe you. I'm the favorite uncle in town. I'm the favorite policeman here. I'm the great politician, and I give to charity, and no one's going to believe you, so you might as well not. These manipulations are all coming out into the open. And so humanity is seeing it. It can't help it. And in a sense, there's this ingenious unfolding. The planets and the Kali Yuga are shifting such that humanity has to go through a wake up. And in a way, when you look at it from far back, you can see the only way to trigger the whole globe as one is to destroy the economy. Because everybody wants to have money and feel safe. Now, people haven't been looking at what's going on in the world with the blacks or slavery or sweatshops. Minorities have, yes, definitely, but not the majority. Most people are just into, let me just have a good life, good family, and ignore the rest. The whatever's going on across the world, the riots, the human rights crimes going on in countries is endless. And the global economy collapsing has made everybody talk. The lockdown has made everybody research, and it's made everybody question, because people are wondering, hang on, my business is gone. Hang on, someone else's business is gone. Wait a minute, I'm not sure if I'm going to have a job in the future. Wow, I don't know if my kids will have blah, 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 whatever it is. And so people are questioning because they feel threatened. It's like tragedy and threat creates a wake-up call. Before, everything was way too cozy, even though sick things were going on that people knew long ago in Hollywood, with the stars, what a silly thing. Royal family, everything sounds ridiculous. They're supposed to be royal, but I don't see anything royal about it. Stars, they're meant to be, you know, exemplary people, showing by example. It's all about how they look and the latest dress, and some of them do some, you know, good work, yes, thank God, but, you know, like, what on earth? They're just people that manage to be good actors. I always thought, why is the world worshipping actors so much? In fact, they're such good actors, they can act out anything. Are they even authentic half the time? Sometimes you can see they're just so working so hard to keep up their image. It looks torturous when you really feel beyond that, and how much they're trying to stay young and definitely not age, because that's got to be the worst. You just get thrown in the bin then. This is sick. Old women are beautiful, old men are beautiful, old elders are powerful and important. This is just everything reversed. This is Kali Yuga, this is dark ages, right? So now this beautiful opportunity is here for all of us to question it and to actually say, hey, actually, I've woken up too. Before that I was ignoring it, and now I'm not ignoring it anymore. I'm going to live according to my heart and soul. I'm going to add positive things. I'm going to open my eyes. And even if it's painful, I'm going to look at that, because I know that as I look at it, I will learn, of course, according to what you can cope with. So that don't look at it if you're going to be suicidal or you can't cope. You know, you have to find your own balance. All of us have to do that. And that's your choice. It's your barometer you need to listen to. I have managed that in terms of, sometimes I'm really in it and then I realize, I gotta pull out, and I've got to just stop posting. And then, you know, a move, a vibration comes, I support others that are posting so that they know they're heard and that they're validated. And then other times I might make a post again. So finding that navigation is like a dance. And this is what yoga, in my opinion, is about. It's about finding that inner dance, honoring yourself. We're not running away, we're not escaping, we're not leaving the body, we're not doing anything. We're staying in here, we're feeling everything, we're nurturing this body temple. The more we look after it, the more we will have high vibrational intelligence and wisdom. And then from this place, we can, you know, offer our best. And that's the best right now, and it might be, you know, it might dip down later on, it might get even better. Nothing stays the same, and things move up and down. They're waves. Everything is a wave form. Everything is an inhale and an exhale. Notice that. We can learn from the ancient masters that have understood and transcended the human drama. So the state that I like to try to be in as much as possible, and this is the perfect example this time now, is to be aware of the drama, to know my place and to offer my best whilst honoring myself and being the observer. And this thing is very powerful. Yogically, in my perspective, and this is not recent studies, I've been a yogi in a past life, like the real thing, not the I've studied for a while and now I'm just regurgitating things. Like I've felt that complete surrender and that union, and yet that full detachment. So yogically, the more you are in alignment with yourself and you hold that vibration, the more you are helping uphold the frequency for others to meet and to feel safe going there. And that's been something that even my ex-husband and I discussed in our early 20s, so long ago, holding that frequency, sitting in it. No need to even communicate unless that arises, is really powerful. The ego will underestimate that and go, yeah, you got to do something, do. And yes, it's true, it's really good to do things. Definitely, I'm not saying we shouldn't, but it's more 80% or so. A majority is your state, your direction, your intention, got it, and then 20% action. Roughly, it's a guesstimate. It's just an example of proportion. That works for me, and that has worked for others that are doing that. It's that effortless expression coming from a powerful core of awareness. And that's why, notice if you're feeling rushed. Notice and don't get into it. That's why today at yoga I was teaching, find your rhythm and notice, are you honoring your rhythm in life? And are you free to say to your loved ones or your colleagues or whoever's around you, hang on, I want to take that slightly slower, I need time to think. Or yeah, actually, hang on a sec, you might not be ready, but can I go ahead? I'm feeling really cued in, I'm feeling the vibe, I want to move into that direction, la la la. And really negotiating and honoring your rhythm and your pace, because you might be ready tomorrow to do something amazing, and someone else, like your partner or someone, might say, oh, I don't want to go out, I don't want to do it, and that holds you back, and then you get stagnant again. Okay, so say, okay, I love you so much, but I need to go out and do this because I have the energy flowing through me, I'm in alignment. And if they really love you, then or say to them, look, if you really love me, in all honesty, I need to just go and do this thing, and I'll see you afterwards, and I will honor you equally when you're ready to do your thing, because we have our own divine unfolding. So why am I doing this YouTube? To have a discussion, to share my journey, which is huge. I'm going to be sharing more about like how entities can affect you, how narcissists operate, how you can end up staying stuck through certain beliefs and why, and how you can shift through that, spiritual dimensions, that you are so much more than this body, how to use, you know, your mind, certain mind hacks, so that you can realize, that's that pattern, I don't need to go with this, I can observe this and let it go. Realizing also if you're balanced in life, if you are, you know, following your joy and you're feeling really good about something, or if you're wearing yourself down, and actually losing connection with yourself and your self-love by doing certain things that are depleting you. Because there are so many trappings on this path, and there's so many belief systems that are not really accurate, and they're not to be taken black and white. And this is why for a while I really thought, is there any authentic yoga out there? Because basically some people can get a yoga teacher training or learn how to meditate, you know, in this course, which is all about making money, most of it. Really, it's a structure, and it's like we teach them this and this and that. We don't engage, we don't actually see if they've spiritually grown. We haven't even checked what their intention is. So then they have a certificate, and then they can feel like the teacher. And if that comes from ego, to be a teacher and to have people that are there looking for your help, that's going to be super corrupted. The intention will not be right, and you will feel that eventually, maybe not straight away. You might be fakely uplifted, and only to be dropped deeper when you discover the truth. This is something big as well. I've seen many ceremonies being done where people have ayahuasca journeys. I went to one myself, but I've seen what happens. They're not protected, they're not guided. All sorts of people are purging. All sorts of environment is created for negative, dark vibrations to actually come in, because the body is open and vulnerable. We weren't taught to sit in light. We were there with heaps of people doing all sorts of things, and they go all the time, and they're all the time going into this weird purging, which is extreme. And I shouldn't sound so judgmental, but when you have to purge every month and you are addicted to going to an ayahuasca journey, something's not right, because that's extreme. Growth can be graceful and on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be an absolute losing it and vomiting and screaming in an ayahuasca journey. And that to me is also a sign of the dark ages. It is a rough thing. It's people believing they need to suffer to get better, which is why a lot of people accepted Iyengar and the Bikram guy, who was actually hurting people and torturing, and all the other teachers that have been so-called gurus, where people felt exhilarated by being pushed and squashed and hurt because of some very weird, I believe, interference. I don't think it's natural, because a child wouldn't want it, so why would you want it as an adult? So interesting life, interesting stories. I'm also going to discuss movies that I think are very powerful in opening our minds. There's a lot of them. There's a lot that I've loved, and I felt very guided towards them. And I would like to share them in case you resonate, because we have all this Netflix going on. And that's a program in itself, by the way. Depending on what you choose, that's going to keep you in the system, keep you anesthetized, keep you in that glamour world, which is anything but your truth within. And so it depends how you navigate, as always, and that's the way it is. But there's some amazing movies I've seen, and I would like to mention some of them as well. The one that comes to mind is always The Truman Show, which I've loved. The Matrix, of course, and some other ones that I forget the name about. There's a lot though, and they're eye-openers. They're worth seeing if you haven't seen them. They open your perspective. I mean, quite early on with my ex-husband, still when I was just 24 something, Gattaca, G-A-T-A-C-A, which is the DNA code. There was a whole amazing movie on that with Uma Thurman in it. And it was, for me, that was another wake-up call. There were lots of those, but I will share more about these movies as well. And they are really easy to watch. Well, you know, it depends on your state of mind, but they're worth the wake-up call and the contemplation. I also watched the Terminator. That had an impact on me. I'm an 80s kid, so born in 68, but like, yeah, I'm had that time in my 80s. But the Terminator, I found very interesting how they came back from the future to save what was happening, which was the takeover of the machines and stuff. Very interesting concept. The Day of the Triffids, I saw that as a kid, and I remember that horrified me. So again, see the things that have shaped me. But I also watched a lot of beautiful fairy tales, innocence, about love, really amazing things, and that's more my tendency of what I like. So I'm just talking about the wake-up movies. My other ones are really beautiful, authentic biographies, love stories, innocence, lots and lots of beautiful things. But I'm more about the wake-up calls. Oh, there's great Indian movies I've seen since as well that are super, super cool about people following gurus, and even when the guru exposes himself. Kumare, watch that one, super powerful. The guy goes out and pretends to be a guru, and this is a great movie, no swearing, nothing disgusting, a truly nice guy making a movie pretending to be a guru, just telling people that they're beautiful, that he loves them. He has a following, gives me goosebumps. And in the end, when he tells them he's actually not a guru, he was just seeing how far they would go, and he tested them on all sorts of crazy things. Some people got angry and did not believe when he confessed in the end he's not a guru. Some got it and thought, wow, cool work. Other people got angry and they didn't want to know, and they felt absolutely horrified. Very interesting about the mind. There's a social experiment one about, I think, the prison experiment or something. I'll look it up to give you proper info, but Kumare, Kumare, super interesting about the mind and what we do and what belief can lead you to do. And that's important. We have, worship doctors. We worship and trust the politicians. What is this? There's so much research showing that many people don't want 5G. Why do we not have a say? Why is it censored? This is very suspect. It should never be a censored thing. It should be an open discussion. I'm yet to see research which shows that 5G is safe. If you have it, I would love to see it. Really, 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 really. I would actually love it if it was. In fact, I'm hoping and visualizing that we can one day turn that to such a vibration where it's actually healing and elevating, because everything is energy, right? So that someone can switch the dial and whoo, it's actually going to help us elevate. It's actually going to support our organ health, our biology, rather than go against it. So I'm the eternal optimist. I try to be realistic. I try to be curious and questioning. And I invite you to enjoy your own mixture, what you are. And maybe journal it and write it and announce it to your family. This is where I am at, and I want you to please allow me to be me. If we don't want to discuss a certain topic, that's cool, but we're not going to suppress each other. That's not love. We're going to honor each other and our uniqueness and see what comes of it. So in these times of immense change, let's harness this. Let's be beautiful. Let's be upset. Let's be everything. There are times when I'm so euphoric, and I've had this for a long time, where I say, this is so weird. I can't imagine that there's a problem in the world. But this is also, I'm living in the top 10% of the people. I live in a beautiful, peaceful place, which is clean. I am grateful where I live. And so it's easy to feel deluded. At the same time, it's what I focus on. There are people that live around here that are depressed and angry, and they hate society, and they think life sucks. So it's also your mindset, of course. But there are moments when you will tap into the 5D reality versus the three-dimensional reality, which is more polarity, control, separation. And when you get into those states, when you walk the earth, when you're in nature, when you feel it within, and your eyes, your filters are literally showing you the beauty all the time, like it has happened with me, like literally all the time. It's like, wow, how can I explain that to anyone? But it's possible for everyone. And how you filter your world is that. And I can even see beauty in rubbish. Now, I don't see beauty in abattoirs. I don't see beauty in child abuse, no. But I see beauty in just walking through the city and watching the different people, the sounds, the smells, the weather changes, the contractions and the expansions, and the communications, the different races and faces. It's amazing. And so we have so much to share, to give each other, and this is the time. So start your own group, share, support people that are daring to share, and say, let's stay open, let's remain the people, let's remain so that we can honor who we are, and let's be wise and not have that little war, because that's what people in control are counting on. If you're trying to control someone, the easiest way you can do it is to drain them to fight amongst each other. Okay, that is the easiest way. These people are smart, much smarter than that, but this is a basic law. Think about it. If you want to control 10 people down here and you're not that strong, if you get them divided and they're beating each other up, they're doing it for you. That's what's going on. So stay aware and keep honoring the people you love. Reflect, sit in it, feel it. You don't have to agree with anything. Honor who you are. Get to that layer within where you're remembering your purpose, your joy, your heart, and be free to say no to people that use vibration you don't enjoy. Cut. Have boundaries. You need that. You can't be there for everybody. And some people will love you and some people will hate you. Get used to it. This is also something that we need to embrace right now. And I'm feeling that for many people are posting the same thing. People are sensitive. They don't want to be heard. They don't want to be told off. Well, just say thanks for your comment, but if you can't speak nicely, I need to block you, and just do it. You're allowed. And just navigate your river of life. Don't let people sap your beautiful energy from you. It's not worth it, and that's your responsibility. You can't become a victim and say, oh, they sapped it all out of me. No, you can say no. You're allowed to say no. And if you can't, then find someone who helps you to empower you again, to shed those layers of shame from childhood or these programs, so you remember, hey, I can speak, I can have a voice, what I say matters, and excuse me if you don't like it, that's cool. We are all here and valuable. So enjoy this moment. Let me know if anything here was interesting for you, if you've got questions, if you want me to continue. I'm going to continue anyway, but hey, it's nice to know. And just also share, make videos yourself and let me know how you're going. And we all have unique herbal remedies, discoveries, mindset tools, experiences, wisdoms, life exchange. Let's be that union. Maybe the divine God that is in all wants to experience what it's like to be in union, and we can enjoy that. There's nothing wrong with being separate either. That's the thing, right? You can choose, and that's the beauty. So that's all I can say. Breathe deep. Hold, exhale deep. Feel that. Feel the breath, hear the breath. Breathe in deep. Exhale and surrender into your inner dimension, your truth. Meet your inner child. Feel you're safe within. Let things bubble up. And if you want to exit some of those things, just feel them. Feel them. Journal about them. Say, hey, you're welcome. And you will notice nothing can really harm you. Nothing can hurt you. That's what the enlightened ones have realized. It's just a thought. It's just our response or reaction towards it. And this is why you're so powerful. And people that want to control us, I know it sounds mad, they like for us to forget that. Because if we remember that, they have no chance in hell. Nothing, zero. And it's only 1% that want bad things. And they happen to find each other and they happen to hatch a plan, okay? This is real. And if you don't believe it yet, that's cool. It will all come out in the open. I'm not worried about that. And if you don't believe it, ignore that and just take the bits that you love and resonate with. Because ultimately, we are free and it's a cosmic play. And even those people are part of it. They're part of the chess game, white and black. That all goes back into the same box. The question is, are you happy? Cool. If not, we can change that if you want that happiness, if you want to grow, if you want to remember who you are and how powerful you are. And so there's many things involved here, dropping concepts, inviting peace, breathing in commitment to the divine within, and breathing out negative self-doubts, old paradigms. Breathing in fresh pranic life force, connecting to the earth, connecting to the stars, to the planet, to the sky, to the trees. exhaling out stress, which becomes neutralized as it falls to the ground in gratitude. And relax like that. Ciao.